where we feature brothers and sisters who have followed their vision to build businesses, institutions, or services that serve, profit, and uplift our community. Listen as we share the ideas, experiences, and skills that help to shape their unique stories of commitment, perseverance, and triumph. Be inspired and catch your vision on Visions of Our People. Now, here's our host.
From Odor to Tashinda, brothers and sisters, together we will win. Today, the Visions of Our People podcast brings you the powerful vision of award-winning, internationally acclaimed jazz vocalist and lyricist, Sweet Lu Olutosin. His music has enjoyed many bright moments, including reaching #1 on the Billboard Traditional Jazz Album chart. Sweet Lu Olutosin is celebrated for his dynamic voice, blending jazz, blues, and gospel with rich storytelling and emotional depth. A former military officer, Sweet Lu transitioned into music later in life, bringing the discipline and purpose to his craft. His performances on international stages have earned him praise for his masterful interpretations of jazz standards and his own original compositions. With a commitment to both preserving and expanding the jazz tradition, Sweet Lu stands out as an artist who embodies the soul of the genre. Although Brother Olutosin's music radiates creativity and energy, it's his storytelling and live performances that truly showcases the full range of his artistry. His unique ability to blend music with narrative elevates his offerings to another level. Sweet Lu's journey as a storyteller and musician is deeply rooted in the legacy of his great-grandmother, Betty Pett Hinton, a natural griotess, though she would not have described herself that way. Using only what God gave her, Granny Pett told stories through praise songs, piano playing, artistic portraits, and paintings, supporting her family with her gifts. Sweet Lu often reflects on what she might have accomplished had she been born with arms, hands, and fingers. As Sweet Lu, also known as Baba Lu, says, our ancestors entrusted griots and griotess with the sacred roles of political advisors and peacemakers. His music and storytelling continue to honor that ancestral legacy.
Wake up, everybody. Wake up, everybody. Get up, everybody. Wake 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 up, everybody.
From Odor to Tashinda, brothers and sisters, together we will win. And today we're sharing the vision of internationally known jazz artist, musician, singer, Army, is it Army Colonel or Marine Colonel? Which branch, my brother?
Army. That's
Yeah,
it.
so I'm letting our listeners, our viewers know that you don't take no stuff, Colonel. Colonel they don't take no stuff. So y'all be on good behavior, because we want to spend some time with the Colonel today to share his vision with us about, well, his brother has so many things that in his life that he can share with us. And it's amazing how he's been able to accomplish what he has accomplished. And my brother, all honor and praise to you for being open to the Creator to let yourself be used the way you have been used for yourself, your community, your family, and our people. And we're talking with a brother who has truly been blessed. So welcome to Visions of Our People, my brother.
Thank you so much, brother. Thank you so much for having me and for that wonderful introduction. I'll try to live up to some of those nice things. I don't know that my past has been all of that, but I'm giving it all I got, and that's all I got to give.
Well, I know you're being humble, my brother, but you haven't tried, you have done it. So I appreciate that. So my brother, I want to start off introducing you with my audience, and a lot of my audience you already know. but I would like for you, for folks to hear it from not the horse's mouth, but from the African's mouth. Who is Sweet Lu Olutosin?
Well, Sweet Lu Olutosin is one of, I guess, the many hats that I've put on over the years as jazz artist and lyricist and entertainer. Musically, I've always been connected, and I found out later why I was so connected, and I'll speak to that a little bit later. But Sweet Lu Olutosin is my musical artist persona that I've greeted people with all over the world, and I've embraced and loved the audience participation that I get from people singing the songs that I sing, and just groove into the music that I try to produce for everybody. So that's who Sweet Lu Olutosin is, but that's actually multifaceted in itself. There's a Army colonel in that identification, as well as a business owner tied up in that identification, even a construction worker tied up in that identification. But all of that wrapped into that guy that became Sweet Lu Olutosin, the musical artist.
Amen. That's a great I am, my brother. And you've been blessed with not only just being a musician, but you and I had a conversation before, and you told me about something that a story, and I would like for you to share that with our viewers and our listeners. That is your vision and your purpose. What is that vision and purpose that you would like to share with us about your griot experience, in addition to your being a jazz artist and internationally known vocalist, my brother?
Thank you. Thank you for asking that question. And it's really, again, part of my evolution. As we go through life and we learn things about ourselves and about our environment. I was fortunate in 2018, I made my first trip to West Africa, Ghana. And as a part of that trip, we were given a naming rights and a ceremony where we sent information ahead of time before our arrival to go to the tribal elders and the shrines to connect us with our ancient past, if you will. When my opportunity came for my naming right, the gentleman, the chief, said, "You are a griot." And I'm sitting in front of him, I'm saying, yes, I am a griot, because I had identified with being a griot for many, many years in my lyrical writings. But he was now telling me that the ancestors have told me that I am a griot. My spirit is that of a great griot that has walked this earth before. And I was just so taken back by that, because it threw me into a point where, you gain knowledge and then you have to figure out what to do with that knowledge. How does this now affect the reality that I'm living right now, or the reality that I think I'm living? And as I sat with it and studied it more and more, I realized that that was just the God in nature connecting me with the spirit that I already had. On the natural side of this, my great grandmother was a griot, but she would not have told you that that's what she was. But she did the work of griot. She was a praise singer, artist. She painted great pictures with her mouth because she didn't have arms. She played piano with her toes because she didn't have fingers. She traveled the United States from the 1920s to 40s, performing for people all over the United States who would send for her. So she was performing the work of griot, but her experience had not given her the training tools. Her DNA did. So I'll leave it with that.
Amen. And that DNA and that proverbial apple that fell from that tree, it definitely fell in your favor, my brother, because it talks about the role of a griot as being hereditary. And
Yes.
you just explained, just coming from your grandmother, and which connects you to her ancestors. So no telling how far back this griot goes. in your family lineage. But just for our brothers and sisters who may not know what a griot is, what is a griot, my brother?
Well, in traditional African societies, griots, and there are plenty of tribes that continue to use griots in today's society, but griots were entrusted storytellers, historians, genealogists. They also form roles such as political advisor to the royal courts, various lots of different roles that they were given, but it was because of their storytelling and their musical artistic abilities, they were entrusted with more powers within the community to serve functions that actually soothe and heal the community, or they were arbitrators oftentimes. But it was as you mentioned, a hereditary type of circumstance where you were griot for life. You were born into this, and you groomed and learned the skills of musical and storytelling, so you could now enrich the community of which you are part of.
Thank you for that, my brother.
Yes.
With that story that what you just talked about, in retrospect, looking back over your life, becoming a jazz musician and artist, with that platform, to sing songs that you sang, looking back in retrospect, can you point to a point in your life where on some level you had a vision of this purpose? Can you point to a specific time, or is this something that just kind of organically happened, and now that it's here now, and you just kind of going with it, if that makes sense?
Yes, it does. And I have to address it from both ways, because in a way it just came upon me because I really wasn't looking for it, and it happened. And then on the other side of the coin, I saw it happening, but it didn't appear as if this was me watching my life develop, if you will. I can tell you that there was a time when I was writing my second album, and I'd been given a challenge. I was working with an Italian pianist, great guy, Antonio Sciacca, and he gave me the challenge. He said, if you can write lyrics to these songs, I think we would actually have something that we can work with. And it was the first time I'd had a challenge on writing several pieces in a certain given time and try to make them all fit a particular type of scenario. And as I began on that journey, things just started coming to me. It was really magical. I didn't even, once I sat down and began, it was as if I just opened the door and everything just came to me. And it shocked me because I was finished with it much sooner than I expected. And when we went over the dialogue in the lyric, it was something that really took light and just made something really special.
So in that moment, my brother, where you kind of felt those lyrics and where that was coming from, the stories that came out of those lyrics, would you say that's part of a griot heritage, or is that something that's not even connected to that? Because I'm thinking, when I look at things, everything is connected. It's not a coincidence. So that's just I'm curious about how that affect how those lyrics came about, and what were their origin, and would you say they have any connection to your being what you call what the ancestors or the brothers that were in Ghana that said you were a griot manifested itself?
Yes, I think that's exactly what was happening, even though I didn't realize it at the time. I think as I look back on it, retrospectively, you can see all kind of things, but you don't see it at the time. And one song in particular, when I was writing the lyric for Malcolm's song, There was a theme for, and as the story was unfolding for me, and I'm writing this story, it's as if I'm living it through some remote viewing kind of experience, if that makes sense. I'm there, but I'm not really there. I'm telling the story and I'm watching the story unfold. So I'm in 2 or 3 places at the same time. So I say that, yes, I would say that was definitely a connection with that ancestral energy, although I didn't realize that's what it was. It felt really different. So yes, it was, I think that's what that was.
Wow, wow. That's great, my brother. Well, in our conversation, in your life, you manifested yourself as a jazz artist, jazz musician. Now, which was a part, kind of like led up to your space and time right now as a griot. You've produced albums and CDs from that experience. So with this griot experience, what have you manifested that you would like to share with our brothers and sisters?
Thank you for that question. As I have, expressed, my evolution has taken me to a new place now. And as a result of that, and during self-study and self-evaluation, I came upon what the next step of this thing is. Like I mentioned, once you get knowledge of something, once you get knowledge of self, now there's a requirement for you to do something with this knowledge. You can't just sit back and be fat, dumb, and happy because you got the knowledge. It's not for you. It's for everyone else. How can this now be used or be shared with others who may benefit from it? So as a result of that, I've developed what I call the Storify life, in that everyone has a story. Everyone's life is a story, and multiple chapters of great stories. There's sad, there's happy, there's good, there's bad, there's all kinds of stories. There's stories from our past, from our parents, our grandparents, from our families that we all know and love. All of these stories are inside of us, begging to get out. So what I've developed is a method and a platform and a coaching process to help individuals identify those stories, create them, and present them in a way that makes sense and makes people pay attention. Again, it's called Storify Life, and part of the testing is ongoing right now. Some people that are actually going through the process. We will be live sometime in the very near future, but for just those who are curious, if you just want to take a look at what the Storify life is about, you can just type in that into your web browser, STORIFI.LIFE, Storify life. And what we do is teach you and coach you on creating and developing and presenting your story. For example, right now, I've kind of put a new challenge on myself to develop the story of my third great-grandfather. My third great-grandfather's name was Josiah Hinton. In 1863, in fact, December 8th, 1863, he found his way across the Missouri River to join the Missouri Army, the Union Army, and come back and fight against the Confederates. So I'm building his story now, and soon I will be able to tell just those crazy events that occurred in his life, from being a slave to running away and joining the Union Army and coming back and fighting back against his oppressors. So we'll be telling that story soon, but Storify Life is where you can find this type of information and where we're going with that community.
Well, that's great, my brother. So for brothers and sisters who are listening and watching this, and who might want to get involved, do they have to have a story already, or does your system or your method help people to find their stories, or how would that work? Say if I came to you and said, "Sweet Lou, how can you help me to be to tell my story?"
Great question. Very good question. So, as I mentioned, everyone already has these stories resonant in you. You've lived them. You've had life experiences that have made you cry. You've had life experiences that have made you laugh so hard that you almost hurt your stomach. You know, those things are stories and they're yours and they belong to you. So, what we will do is help you identify which story you want to tell the best or which one you want to tell first. Once you've told one, you will quickly know how to identify the others. But we're going to help you through that whole process of identifying it, developing it, and we're going to help you even deliver it, because that's where the real juicy piece comes in, when you can deliver that story on point.
Now, is there a cost to this process, my brother?
Well, another wonderful question. I am building an online paid community, but for the first several people, we're giving free membership for the first year. And even, I tell you what, I think I'm going to put in something special for your people. I'll give you a code, and when you just log in, just put in your email, we're going to send you some information. Put in the code. The code's going to be BCN Saccone. How about that? If you put in the code, we're going to hook you right up and put you on the free list.
All right, Colonel. I take that as an order.
There we go.
We're gonna roll with that, my brother. But you know, just listening to you talk about your business idea of Storify Life, it just made me think about there's healing in that, in this sense.
Oh my goodness.
When you, I'm just thinking about how our good friends, Sondai Lester and Lindiwe Lester, their book Connections Remember, and they're talking about how when we reconnect ourselves to the lineage and our ancestors the way you did, you know, and that's kind of like a healing process, and it kind of makes you whole.
Oh, you're so right. It's a therapeutic thing that's going on as you're reconnecting yourself. And you know, I'm not a psychologist or anything else like that. However, I know when something works and is working to connect people's spirit. And this process has connected people's spirit over and over and over again. And my goal is, once we connect closer within our nuclear families, we will reach that out until our extended families. And from our extended families, we reach into our communities, because our stories are what makes us real. Our stories are what holds us together. In the past, that's all we had was our stories. But now we have so many distractions, we hardly ever get to tell our stories. And that's part of what we're dealing with in our communities. We're doing everything but the things that strengthen our bonds within our nuclear families and with our communities. So this is one thing that will help us begin to get back to that.
Wow. Well, that's, you know, you're hitting on so many cylinders there, my brother, with the healing piece and just identifying this process that you're talking about right now. If a person, like you said, you had no idea that you were a griot,
right,
to the brothers to the brothers at the shrine in Ghana, you know, they actually dropped that on you, and you had no idea that you were a griot. So I'm thinking, you know, just from our experience as a people, we've got a whole lot of griots walking around out here who have no idea that they're griot.
Yes, sir.
And they are connected to that spirit that you're talking about. And, you know, after the 400-year Holocaust that we've gone through, we need that kind of healing.
Absolutely.
big time. And
I think that this is a step that these are the types of things and methodologies that will help us to get back to the beginning, to the things that matter to Africans more than anything else. And there's just so many things that have happened to us as a people, but they've happened as a result of us getting away from our true heritage, our true spiritual connections to Mother Nature and to God. We have to dial that back and get back to those things that make us who we are.
yes.
And I think this is the way to do that.
Wow. Well, that's a great platform, my brother. You have dedicated your life through jazz, and now you are a griot then. You didn't necessarily, tell people that or was really aware of that, maybe on the level that you are now, but you were doing it then. So now you're really doing it on this level, and that's great. And we thank the Creator for giving you those gifts to give to us, share with us, my brother. What are your socials? Do you have any social media contacts? If somebody wanted to follow you,
Yes.
where would they go?
Storify Life on all social media, clear. STORIFI.LIFE on all the primary platforms, Facebook and Instagram, X, I think those guys out there.
Thank you, my
But
brother.
definitely check out the site. Leave us a note, send a note or drop your email and put in the BCN or BCN Saccone, and we'll make sure we take care of you.
Thank you for that hookup, my brother. I will definitely take that and share it with my brothers and sisters.
Here we go.
So we can
Here
get
we
the
go.
hook up. Well, let me ask you this, my brother. After listening to your conversation and seeing you in the flesh and feeling your spirit, why should brothers and sisters follow your vision or connect to the vision that you're sharing with us today?
Well, when you look at our community, it's clear we need some help. I'm not asking for anything from anyone, but I think if we take the moment to still ourselves just long enough to look inside ourselves and recognize that there's a story to be told, and that story has to do with connecting us to our parents, to our grandparents, to our grandparents, and as far back as we can reach. That's something that everybody has. Everyone has a mother and a father, or you came from a mother and a father. Everyone came from a grandmother, a grandparent. Everyone came from a great grandparent, so there's nothing unique about this to me. It's something that's unique about this to everyone. This is, I think, one of those threads that can, if we tug on it and tug on it enough, we're actually going to get some action when everything comes down. And I think it's the kind of action that we can actually benefit from.
My brother, to close this out, do you have any closing remarks that you would like to leave with our brothers and sisters?
No one, not any one of us anywhere that looks like we look will ever be free until all of us that looks just like we look are free. So forget about the individual accomplishments. Forget about the individual things that we do that make us feel like we're a little free. We are not free and will not be free until all of us are free. So let's get on the stick and get after it, making something meaningful occur while you're here on this earth. That's all you have. You have an opportunity now, and now is all you have.
Yes. Thank you for that, my brother. And I missed this up front. I should have asked you this up front, but I'm going to ask you this now. So for brothers and sisters who are looking at that symbol behind you, is there any significance to that to that symbol, my brother?
Yes. This logo behind me is actually the logo for the Storify Life. So Storify Life logo is going to be a fire, because it's one representing us sitting around the fireside and actually having a talk and telling our stories to each other and learning from each other as we sit around the fireside and just commune. It's the way our ancestors did it long, long ago. And they did all kind of things through telling their story. If we tell ours, we will do the same.
Amen and Ashe, my brother. I appreciate that. And thank you so much for joining us on Visions of Our People. And we encourage our brothers and sisters to go. We're going to put your information we're going to share it with our brothers and sisters so they can go to the website and get connected with you. And make sure y'all put in the BCS County so y'all can get that hook up. Thank you, my brother.
Sometimes you're off when it feels like on. Sometimes you can't tell the night from dawn. Did the earth move or did you take a turn? Did you just get hot or did you just get burned? Open up your eyes and take a deep breath. Hold on tight while you hope for the best. You see, falling down feels a lot like flying. Giving birth feels so much like dying. So spread your wings, don't you fall. Come down on your own if you come down at all. Spread your wings, don't you fall. Don't you fall, don't you fall.
Thank you for joining us for Visions of Our People. We hope that our stories of commitment, perseverance, and triumph have inspired you to follow your vision of creating businesses, institutions, and services that uplift our brothers and sisters, serve our community, and make us the great people that our Creator made us to be. We wish you peace and blessings, and we invite you to join us again for Visions of Our People.